Right, so this is something that I see quite often. People, they're motivated, they're like, right, I'm going to get healthy, I'm going to lose weight, and then they panic because they're like, what the hell do I do? Where do I start? I can totally understand that. So if that's you, do not panic. This happens to a lot of people. Now, what I tend to see when people give advice on this is they always go down the route of, well, just eat less and move more. Now, while this is technically correct, it isn't particularly helpful. Mainly because it doesn't really give people an action plan, something to, act on, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and give you one. Now, I just want to let you know, this is probably going to be a bit longer than normal, but stick with it because, like I say, hopefully by the end of it, you'll have a great sort of action plan that you can put into practice and hopefully see some great results. So, like I say, eat less, move more is technically correct, but let's delve into it a bit more to give you some pointers to get started. So let's start with eat less. Now, as we know, you need to eat less calories than you burn in order to lose weight. And most people need to eat less food than they are at the moment, okay? So, number one, you need to know how much you're eating. And you can do this in many different ways. You can eat intuitively, you can track calories, you can do portion control, or you can follow some kind of diet. Just keep in mind that all of these work if done correctly and consistently. The best one for you is the one that you prefer and the one that you can stick to, and that is dependent on you. So, what I will say is I used to be not against it, but never used to really recommend it to people, but I do now, is to track your calories for a short period of time. This can literally be a couple of days, can be a couple of weeks, doesn't matter. The reason I say to this to people is because I think it's a great eye-opener for pretty much everybody. Because what it does is it shows you how much food you really should be eating. And most people find it quite surprising because it's usually a lot less than they're eating at the moment, okay? So it just does give you that eye-opener. So you don't have to, but I do usually recommend it for a short period of time, but it is totally up to you. Now, let's talk about food. So I love, whatever you're doing, whatever sort of strategy you use, I love the system of the 80-20 rule. And the 80-20 rule is basically you eat 80% of whole, unprocessed foods, and the remaining 20% can be pretty much whatever the hell you want to eat. Okay, these are just more the foods that you enjoy eating, your treats, etc. Now, this is what we would almost call flexible dieting. And flexible dieting has been shown to be absolutely fantastic for adherence, and we know the importance of adherence. And compared to strict, rigid, restrictive dieting, sort of that kind of eating has been shown to sort of be, well, it's been shown to be, you're more likely to give it up, or it's not great, as good as flexible dieting for weight loss control. And it's also been shown to increase the likelihood of disordered eating compared to flexible dieting. Because again, like we say, it's, if you're eating the foods you enjoy it a bit more, you're probably more likely to stick to it. So in terms of the type of food that you will eat, for your 80%, get a good balance of carbs, protein, and healthy fats. I would say particularly focus on fibre and protein because these have fantastic effects on satiety. So they basically keep you fuller for longer, which in turn will hopefully help you to eat less, which is obviously always a good thing. So in terms of this, look to your meats, your fruit and veg, sort of like cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, whole grains, those type of foods. Potatoes are also very filling. And for your healthy fats, try and go sort of mainly unsaturated, so things like your olives and your oils, your nuts, your seeds, your oily fish. And obviously also remember the importance of water. We all know the importance of water. As a very, very, very rough guide, try and drink half of your body weight in pounds in ounces. So if you weigh 200 pounds, try and drink 100 ounces of water a day. Now, obviously, this is just a starting measure. You obviously need more or less, depending on how hot it is outside, exercise, etc., etc. It just gives you a guide to start at. So that's eating. So that's the eat less part. So now let's look at move more. So exercise. Obviously, we know the importance of exercise for so many different things. I would say resistance training number one, kind of, just because no matter your goal, no matter who you are, resistance training is awesome for so many reasons. And for any women that may watch this, just don't worry. You know, no matter what you may have heard, if you do weights, you will not look like a man. It's physiologically impossible, so don't worry. You will just look amazingly toned, and it will help you to lose weight, and you'll just look awesome. Okay, so try and aim for 2 or 3 sessions of resistance training a week, or strength training, and just remember that doesn't have to be in the gym. Next, cardio. So try and get a good mix of cardio as well. The recommended amount is 150 minutes a week. Now, whilst that may sound like a lot, it's 20 minutes a day, and you can split that up how you like. And I would say for cardio, just pick something that you enjoy. I mean, I personally hate cardio, so I just do what I enjoy. I play football. So, but this can literally be anything, and even down to a brisk walk. Just try and get it to a point where you are breathing a little bit heavier, so you know you're breathing a bit heavier, but you can still hold a good conversation. Okay, so it's a little bit strenuous, but not killing you. Okay, and another important part of movement, which I think is massively underrated and not talked about a lot, is what you do outside of the gym. And this is just as important, if not more important. Okay, because you can be smashing the gym, but if you're sitting on your arse all day, you will reduce your weight loss results, and you are still susceptible to an increased likelihood of disease, even if you exercise a lot and even if you are lean. That is how important movement is in the day that is not exercise. Now, the easiest way to track this part of your day is to track your steps. Now, you can do this with a pedometer. You can get an activity tracker like a Fitbit. Most smartphones now have pedometers built in. So literally, have a look at how many steps you're doing and just try to find any way throughout your day to increase this. And just try and do more movement throughout the day. Now, one final thing, I just want to talk about sort of like a mindset, because again, I think this is underrated and not talked about a lot. It's all about food, calories, etc. But your mindset is extremely important. And I would like to say, don't be afraid to make small changes. I see a lot of people going from 0 to 100 straight away, and it gets too hard and they quit. So if it helps you, start small. You can always go harder and increase it as you go along. Because adherence is the key. Adherence is the absolute #1 factor in your results. Because you can have the perfect plan, but if you can't do it, that plan sucks. Because you're not going to do it and you won't get the results. So make sure that you can do it consistently. And that leads on to my next point, which is also important. Be consistent and persistent. Because you don't need to be perfect in this. You can aim for it, but you don't have to be. Get it right 80% of the time, but do that week in, month out, year out. And you need to do that for a long, long time. Probably longer than you would like, but you need to do it consistently and persistently. And I promise you will get there. So I know that was a bit longer than normal, but I'm hoping that you got some value from that. And now you've got a plan to at least get started. So if you did get some value from that, please feel free to interact on the post. I always appreciate it. Like, comment, share, etc., etc. Have a fantastic evening, guys, and I shall see you on the next video.